everybody, my name is Sherry. Happy Friday and welcome to my stamp studio. It's always a good day when you have brand new stuff, and I have new stuff. So I'm gonna be making a card for you with the new truck bundle, and we'll talk a little bit about ordering that as well. But before I go on the card, I'm going to show you a couple of other new things that I have that I won't be using on this card, but on the 6th of July, Stampin' Up! Introduced some more online exclusives. Those are a little bit different than things that we've carried in the past because they'll never be in a catalog. There may be like a slight picture of advertising them in a catalog, but they aren't for sale in one of our publications. So they won't be in an annual catalog. They won't be in a mini catalog. As the name implies, they're exclusively online. So I will always, if you have my email, you'll always know when they're coming out because I'll make sure to let you know when there's going to be new ones introduced. So we had some last spring, which was our first set, and now this is our second set. So let me show you these. This one is real red and gold ribbon. As you can see, it's getting, some of the stuff lets you do Christmas in July if you want to do that. And I will be pairing this with this new So Very Merry set. So I didn't get the open sleigh. Lots of demonstrators have it, so I didn't feel the need to. I did get the paper, and I've already done a card a couple of weeks ago with the paper, so you can see that. But this is a fun, it can be stained glass. It has the little kind of like stained glass gingerbread house. Super fun. They're all drawn, so you can color them as stained glass, even the little flowers and the bird and stuff. So a little bit of a sneak peek for some Christmas stuff. I don't like to do a lot of Christmas in July because I love summer and I want it to be July and I want it to be summer. I could pretend I'm in Australia, right? I always, even if it was hot when we were at Christmas in Australia, I still wore a sweatshirt because I just needed to feel like it was cold. And then here's a new kit that also came out yesterday. And kits are always online exclusives. And part of what happens with online exclusives is they can come and they can go. And if they run out of stock, they may get more back in. And that will say, oh, what's the phrase? There's a phrase. It will let you know underneath it that it's coming back, that it's just temporarily unavailable. Once they're sold out, then they just are not there anymore. So if there's something that you absolutely love that's an online exclusive, I would always say get it before you pick something out of the catalog because the catalog stuff is there for the life of the catalog. So this new kit is called Blossom Wishes. I haven't even opened it up. We'll probably do it at my in-person camp next week. Isn't that pretty? It's apples and peaches with some fun purple colors. So I may open it up. If you want to see it, let me know. I can make that. I have the beaches kit too that I have not shown. Maybe we'll use that one at camp. Who knows? So those are those items. And then I'm going to use Trucking Along. So let's talk a little bit about Trucking Along. And then you have seen, this one is called Timeless Charm. So both of these are featured in my card club this month. If you're interested in my card club, go watch this video. It's an online club. This is the set that we're using this month, which is online exclusive. And then July is a bonus month for club. Probably once a quarter. I pick 2 sets, and the second set is just a bonus. So they'll get a couple of extra projects if they buy the set. Everybody gets to see the videos. So Timeless Charm, Trucking Along, and maybe even Open Sleigh. I wasn't really watching it yesterday because it wasn't part of my club. I got up at 4 in the morning to order all of the stuff that the girls had needed for club just so it wouldn't sell out. And then as the day progressed, the stamp set for this and I think this one both became unavailable pretty early on. But Stampin' Up! Flipped that back on because they make their own stamp sets, so they're able to kind of keep up with them. But then as the day got longer and longer, now I know that this is unavailable and I think this is too. But it's with a return date of July 17th. So next week they'll be back. Stampin' Up! Just needs time to ship out all the ones that they have and then make some more and get them in there. So obviously we knew that this one, especially, I was kind of surprised that this one went on low inventory. So here's my recommendation. If you are in club and you already told me that you wanted it, you're good. I'm going to turn off the ordering thing when I post this video because I ordered for the people that wanted them, which I warned you all that this could happen. And then we'll see where we go. Sometimes with the stamps, again, they get them in a little bit quicker than it says. If you are just going to purchase it and you haven't done it yet, I wouldn't wait to get this. I know you get the bundle price, so you save 10%, but there is a chance that people are buying the punch, anticipating getting the set in a few days. Once the punch is gone, if we get more, it will take a while because they come from overseas, as do all punches that all companies make. Nobody in America makes ribbon. Nobody in America makes punches. So if they're getting more, it will be a while. So if you love this, just go ahead and get it now and then add this when you can. And if you're in club, you're going to get an email later this afternoon that kind of explains it to you. So let's talk trucking along. Let's talk both these cards first. So when I sat down, if you watched my video the other day where I did my new color cards, here they are. Like, this is the color that we're going to use in Card Club with the truck because I just think it's fun and it's got some palm trees and it'll make a really fun, bright card. So that was when I sat down. I'm like, I'm just going to do 2 versions of it because I just love this color. But the colors that are laying on my table are the ones that are on my color cards because I haven't cleaned up. So as I started working, I also like Lost Lagoon and Pool Party, so it kind of switched over to that. So we're going to do a little bit more of a retro version. When it was this way, the truck was going to be poppy and be bright and kind of summer feeling, but I'm going to save that, so Card Club's going to get that. So the rest of you, so we have this. We talked about that. Same with this. Dies may sell out. Stamps will keep coming because Stampin' Up! Makes them for a while. Because they're online exclusives, at any point, I have a feeling when the bundles are out, the stamps might also be out. But I made this card a couple weeks ago. 2 reasons I'm showing it to you. One is the dies are back, as are the Earth and Elegance dies. If you were in my email, you saw that yesterday that they're back. They could sell out again quickly because so many people are waiting for them. I literally have, if you take the few people that have asked me over and over, are they back yet? And then you multiply that times all the people that want them, I'm sure they're going to sell out again. But when I made this card, everybody loved the color combination and people were like, oh, I love the colors. I love the colors. So these were also sitting here. So I kind of went Pebbled Path and Wild Wheat, which I didn't have the color cards then. And this is one of the things I'm trying to avoid with the color cards is always just going to my favorites. So for right now, we're going to hit my favorites. So I decided my truck cards, it's a tiny bit retro, it's still bright, but because I'm doing it in these colors, it tones it down a little bit, maybe makes it a little bit more feeling of vintage as opposed to this. So we'll do this in Card Club. It'll be nice and bright. Now we're going to do Lost Lagoon and Pool Party. This is Azure Afternoon and Coastal Cabana. So just to see the difference in the colors there. So let's talk about this set real fast. The card's super quick because this is a fun, easy set. So it's 2-step. I'm not using it 2-step. I'm just going to color mine in. But if you choose to, all of the images, like this right here, at first I thought that was like to do a path of pebbles, and then I realized it's the colors for the little flower vases that have flowers in them. I thought this was a fence, but it's actually the truck rail. It's one of those ones you have to kind of take a look of. You can do, if you're going to do Christmas in July, you can do it on here, wishing you a festive Christmas. It's got the surfboard, palm trees, it's got gifts, it's got 2 different versions of flowers, and then it's got all the pieces. It says every day is a fresh start, special delivery, farm fresh, wishing you a festive Christmas, and sending you sunny thoughts. So there's this. It comes with the punch, so you can do a punch builder, and just do this and build your truck, or you can punch out the pieces here. This colors the inside of that. And I'm going to do, maybe in club, we'll do this a fun way where there's a way that you can use this and actually color this and put it in there. So that is the stamp set. Now I have had more than one person, I don't know how many people have asked me, how similar is this to the other truck set that we used to have? Will it work with the other truck set? I never keep any old cards. And if you're my customer, you know, because I send them out every month. But my girlfriend made me this. There still may be a tutorial on her website for it. It's a little banner, and I hang it in my studio at Christmas. So this is the old truck that we had. I don't even remember what it was called. I'm not even sure that I owned it. Maybe I borrowed it. Maybe I owned it. I don't know. So many stamps, so many years, I lose track. But you can see, for one, the trucks go the opposite direction. So the truck punch is not going to work. And this one was substantially larger. You can see the little tree as compared to that. But the truck itself, well, here. If it went the right way, which it doesn't, here's how the punch goes. If it went the right way, it would still be significantly smaller than that truck. So no, it doesn't like work together, but it works together. If you still have this and you want to have a couple of different trucks on your card, you want to make this the focal and make background paper out of that, obviously they'd work together really well. The sayings for both would work, but the punch will not punch out that truck. So there's that. Now let's get going on the card. So on this one, on my original card, I had no idea because I overnighted my stuff, and I'm right in the middle of getting all of your thank you gifts out for June. So I had no idea what I was going to do with this. So it's a pretty easy, quick card. But my first one, I think I made this piece too big. So hopefully this is not too small. I'm just going to stamp on Whisper White. This is a piece of Pool Party that I ran through the folder that goes with the motorcycles, because you know, car stuff. So that's Pool Party. This is Pebbled Path. I love this color, and I have to stop because I'm using it all the time. You guys are going to be like, if I go watch one of her videos, she's going to have Pebbled Path. We won't in club this month because we're using the Bold Brights paper, which are also on low inventory. Every time I pick something, it seems like it goes on low inventory. So we have this, we have that, and then you need a little piece of paper. Where did I put it? To cut your stuff out of. So let's stamp, because I'm going to color with the blend, and I want it to have it. You don't want to color immediately when it's a little bit muggy outside. So I think everything on my other one was a little high. So this hopefully will smush it all back together. In fact, I cut my paper down after I did it, so it's a little off center on my other one. This one says sending you sunny thoughts. It's photopolymer, so it's easy to line up. So we have our words. Then let's do our trees. So we're just creating a background here for our truck. You can put as many trees as you want. I did 4. You just don't want them to be all the same height. So 1, 2. And with the tree, it is open. Like a lot of the designs have open space because they're meant to have that 2-step go over the top of it and kind of fill that in. It doesn't matter for us because we are going to color it with blend. So we're just going to color it so it doesn't have the empty spots. There's a little bit of road. I'm going to go a little bit higher than I did on my other one. Oh yes, this is much better spacing. So there's that. And then there is some grass here. And again, you don't want it to all the trees to look the same. So I'm going to stamp my grass. The other one I did just 3. This time I'm going to do 4. And then there are some, I think everything on that's done. There are some clouds. That one there. I think that'll be the only one I do on this. And then I'm going to do 2 over here because my background is significantly smaller. 2 that I can cut out. And then here's the railing for the truck. Now, if you're stamping it direct to paper and you're not using the punch, you would stamp it just on your truck. But because I'm going to punch my truck out, it doesn't. If I punched it and this was on it, that would just stay on the paper because there is not, that part of the fence part is not on the truck because you're adding that. So it's not included in the punch. So let's get our truck. Oops. And then there is a little thing that says Farm Fresh. I stamped that at the end so it goes on the door. And then we need our flowers. So let's start coloring. I'll color some bits and then I'll fast forward and then through the magic of editing, it will just be done. So you'll come back and see it done. But let's go. I'll tell you the colors I'm using. For the tree trunks, I'm going to use the 200. Literally just color them in. They're not big enough to take the time. And this is a cartoon design. It's not realistic, so you don't have to spend a ton of time blending and shading. Then I'm just going to take my bullet tip and kind of draw some more lines with the, kind of add some to that road. Then remember, I chose a different kind of color combination. So I'm going to color my trees and my grass with light peacock, dark and light seafoam, and Lost Lagoon. So they're greens, but those are some vintage greens. If I had gone the other way, I would have chose spruce and parakeet and bright greens. It'll give the card a totally different look, so you can do it and color them a couple of different ways. So for this, the peacock's not on here a lot. I just took some peacock and just kind of added it some places so there would be a little bit of dark some places, but you don't want to do too much because then you'll spend lots of time blending this back in. So just add a little bit. It can help kind of fill in some of these edges, but you don't, if you do the edges, make sure that you do some also in the tree, otherwise it'll look a little off balance. So there is our light peacock. I didn't use the dark. And then I also did not use the dark Lost Lagoon. Pebbled Path, Lost Lagoon, my two favorite colors. Add Wild Wheat. Here, isn't that beautiful? It's just really pretty. So again, with this one, I'm gonna kind of go where the peacock is, but make it bigger. And then just add a little bit more of its own. So we have those two colors in. Now I'm going to add my dark seafoam. And this I'm going to kind of blend, and I push really hard with my bullet tips, and I have had this one forever. So you can push hard with your bullet tips. So a little bit of the dark seafoam everywhere. And now I'm going to fill this in, but leave some white in your trees. Obviously light shines through trees. They're not solid. And on a sunny day, you would have that showing through. But now I'm going to use my light. And any place where there's an obvious, I know some of you hate the squeaky sound. I like it. And when we're doing my in-person events, everybody squeaks. So they're used to it. They like to squeak too. And it's just pressing really hard because then it moves. Here, see this one right here? It's still an obvious little switch. And then you can blend it. So when you use your really light colors, they're almost like using a color lifter, except it's adding a little bit of light seafoam as well. So this is done. Isn't that pretty? Well, I'm going to add a little bit more to the road. So let's do our truck and our flowers. So for our truck, this was a last minute addition. My card was done and the fish card had Cajun on it. And I really liked the way the Cajun did it. But I didn't want my truck to be rusty. I want it to be old, but I don't want it to be rusty because the Cajun would be great if you want a rusty truck. So I just used Cajun on the hubcaps. So my hubcaps can be a little bit rusty. So there's just that little pop of Cajun. Then my flowers are dark lemon lolly. There's so little of this on here that I think if you did the light, you wouldn't even see it. So do the dark. And I'm coloring them a little bit bigger than they are, like into the white space, because I want that yellow to kind of pop. And then I have poppy. And this is dark poppy. So do this flower that's a little bit different. And then the centers. This is really the only colors that are going to pop. So you want to make sure that those look really good. And then I did my leaves in the Lost Lagoon. And you can see they're just so tiny that you don't need to spend any time shading. Just color them in. Make sure you get the stems because again, it's a tiny design. You want it to be obvious what it is. Now let's do our truck. So I took the dark wild wheat and I kind of did the sections of the truck first. So they would all have like a pop of wild wheat. And you are going to punch this out, but you do kind of want to stay in your lines. But you're coloring each section of truck so it stays together. There's that. Then I did the insides of my wheels with smoky slate, light smoky slate. And again, I left a little bit, just kind of swirled the color around so there's a little bit of white and brighten it up. And then the tire itself, I did in dark smoky slate. I didn't want to use black. The black blend is just so dark. But I wanted a tiny bit of shading on the tires because these are a little bit bigger. So do once and then just come over here. And then hit it again. So about a halfway through, and then you can put a thing of one onto the fenders and then on the steering wheel. So couldn't be any easier to color this. Now here's the little railing. I don't know, it could be fence, right? Some people, if they have a little flower farm, they might just have built this on. So again, I didn't spend any time. It's tiny. This is the light pebbled path. And keep a little bit of white. Don't feel like it all has to be solid colors. The clouds stay white. Now I'm going to take my dark pebbled path and kind of at the front of each panel. And then I'm going to take my light pebbled path, just the way I used the seafoam, and blend all this in. So I've done the light. I'm going to go back with my wild wheat and just add a little bit of blending with it. And that'll kind of brighten it up. Don't be afraid to play with your colors to see what mixes well. You can always do it on scrap paper. And if it didn't look good, then just try a different color. I always like that when I'm working on the cards with you guys. If my first card, if I think of some other options that I might have liked, I just create my second card that I show you a little bit different, and then we get to compare. So that's good. Look how much fun that is. Nice old truck. So I'm going to pop this out. Now, obviously, we don't need all the other pieces that it's popping. And I put this because I know I'm going to put this on here. Put this so it cuts. It's generous on the spacing. I'm going to put that right there so it's going to get as close as it can to that part. See what I mean? Because if I would rather my white be down here than up here, because then I'd have to trim that. And then I'm just going to take my snips and I'm going to hand trim those out. And I'm going to go back over to these. And because they were laying on my table from making my little color cards, I decided to kind of fill this in with some color. So let's start with Pebbled Path. And then you're going to see how much fun and all the inspiration for the colors came from the fish card and then from my color tags, kind of a mish of the two. So Pebbled Path on my blending brush, kind of add this road here. And with all of them, go just a little bit higher than what your design is, because we'll allow them to mix, because they mix well. So there we have some road. Now Lost Lagoon is going to be, I love this color because I love the ones that kind of go two different directions. And that can be a blue, it can be a green. Here it's going to obviously be a green. And I'm glad that this happened to have, I need to get some more baby brushes. The baby brush would be better on the top, but I don't have one that's blue. But this is my green one. Just kind of rub this in here. With it, I kind of swirled it. I know my truck's going to be here. If you don't like when your things do that, then just start right here and move from there. Now you can kind of see why I drew kind of a line of where I wanted my grass to go. Got that. And then let's do our sky and Pool Party, which we have not used. We didn't use any blends with Pool Party, but that's okay. And this is where I'd really like to have another tiny one. But my blue one is big. So we'll just make it work, kind of angle it this way, or just suck it up. I'm going to put some more of those on my next order. So I have some more little ones. I'm just going to kind of dab it in so I don't get it all over my trees. You could do one of the, I don't know if Balmy Blue left. Maybe we still have Balmy Blue. Sometimes I've been using so many of our new colors, I don't remember exactly which colors left. So you can see I got it a little bit on my cloud. That's why I have another, that's why I cut out some clouds, because then they stay white. So let's take this. Now to stick this all together, when I cut out my fence and my flowers, you can see I left these little tags on the bottom. That's going to give me some place to put adhesive to stick this together. And then we're going to stick it all together once it is on there. So put some adhesive here. And then when you glue it on, you have that little piece there that's going to actually stick to your truck. Always a huge fan of seal, because if you get it in the wrong place like I just did. So, and you don't have to worry about it being perfect because it's kind of a jalopy, right? Grab this. And just add your flowers. I was tempted to put Stella on them, but I kind of wanted to keep the card kind of a country feel. And I don't know that Stella is the country feel I was going for. I used both sides of my dimensionals for this one. Make sure that you just put one right where all of that is, and that's going to hold it together. I used big ones on this because I felt like it needed to be sturdy, and it was going to take too long on the little ones. And then before you stick it down, make sure that you haven't moved any of that, because seal will move. This looks much better than my giant one. It's much more to scale for the truck. Now your little clouds, stick one small one on these. And then just add your clouds. Trying to get it where it's the most cut, most has blue on it. There we go. I'll do one over here. And this is going to go on here. My other one hardly has any of this showing because this was just too big. And when you see it in a second, you're going to go, yeah, the smaller one's better. And that's going to go on our Pebbles path. Love the colors. And it's not like this is a dull card. It still has all that pop of brightness. It's just not as bright as what we'll do in Card Club. Super fun. Now, here's the other one. See what I mean about scale? And I didn't add any embellishments because I was going to add these and there was just no place left to put them. These are currently on back order. They're due back in soon. These are the in color dots. So we have the Pebbled Path. We have the copper, which you could use. But I want to use the Pebbled Path. There was just no place on here to put them because that's too big. And even you can see where I tried to trim it. So when I trimmed it, all that happened was my white space was bigger. I could probably stick another tree in there, but it's okay. I'm really sorry if this is the one, because one of you will get this as a thank you card at some point and you'll be like, that card isn't the best. She sent me the mess up. It's still pretty. And if I had just done that and I was moving on to something else, I would be okay with it. I have no idea where my thing is. But now that I have room here, I can add these down in the corner. That's where I wanted to put them, but my other card just didn't work. So if I give you a this or that, although sometimes I have, like when I do a this or that, I'm like, nobody's going to pick that one because that one's horrible. And people pick it. So we all just have different tastes. Super fun. So if you wanted to know when the Trucking Along is available again, I will be on my email list. I try to check the inventory status often when I know that there's stuff that you're all waiting on to let you know when it's back. Ah, I didn't stamp the Farm Fresh. Okay, this is always fun. You know, when you stamp and it's on a dimensional, we're going to try for the best. How could I forget that? That's one of the best parts of this card. Perfect. Farm Fresh has the little thing on there for the advertisement for her flower business, and I just forgot it. So there you go. Everybody have a great weekend, and we're going wedding dress shopping. So lots of fun antiquing in between because my bride has a baby shower with one of her bridesmaids who is pregnant in between two of the fittings. So my mom and sister and I will go antiquing while we're there. Yeah, so we have a full weekend of antique shopping, bride dress shopping. Hopefully she finds one. out to eating because we're going to go out to eat on both days. So, you know, my husband has to fend for himself because daddies aren't allowed. Everybody have a great one. Bye.